Hey
Be
guys,
fine.
our first episode of 21, we start off with international speaker, author, and personal branding mentor and specialist, Marielle Legair. Marielle is based in the UK and she uses the power of storytelling to help with the visibility of her clients. Today, she'll be sharing a little bit about her journey as an entrepreneur, but also give us some pointers on personal branding and how to get the year started on a great start. Marielle, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I am awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time
Thank
to
you.
join us and chat to us a little bit about
Sure.
personal branding. I think it's just really important that we start the year off with, just setting some goals and understanding what we need to do as business owners. I mean, 2020 was another kind of year, and I think this year people want to do things differently and
Yeah,
ensure that they do the best for their businesses, and I think with themselves as well. So I think it's pretty awesome that we start off the year chatting to you.
yeah, I'm excited to be here. I've actually got a short presentation, so shall I share my slides and talk through that, and then we could revert and maybe do a Q&A, or how do you want to structure it?
Well, I'd like to get to know a little bit about you before we
Yep,
jump into the presentation. So if you could just tell us a
sure.
bit about your journey. I know that you started out in corporate and you worked with like some amazing companies in New York and in the UK.
Yeah,
And I just wanted you to tell us about your journey and how you kind of moved from corporate into the entrepreneurship space and why
yeah,
personal branding.
yeah. So that's a lot of questions there, and I'm happy to answer. I would say, so I started off in PR. I started working at a PR agency in London, one of the top agencies here, and I did enjoy it, but I didn't love it. I was doing PR for consumer brands, which is it just wasn't me. But I was able to pick up a lot of good skills that I think have stuck with me today. Writing skills, influencing, presenting, all of those soft skills that I feel like everyone needs to really be able to excel, whether in business or in a 9 to 5. That was 2005. The world has obviously changed a lot since then. I recognized quite early on that I didn't necessarily want to stay doing PR, but it was good. It was like intellectually challenging. I transitioned to working in a corporate environment after spending 2 years in agency. And while in London working at an accountancy firm, don't ask me how I ended up doing PR for a large accountancy firm, but it was a huge blessing because in 2011, I went to New York on holiday with my sister and just fell in love with the pace and the energy of New York. And I said to my sister at the time, oh my gosh, I need to live here. I need to live in New York. I'm going to make this happen. Thankfully, I was working at a global company where they had offices in all over New York and the world. I was able to transfer to the New York office with my job, which was a huge opportunity for me because it meant that I got to live in New York and have a really incredible experience living there. I was there for 7 years,
Mhm,
and it was there that I recognized that PR just didn't feel like enough to me because
mhm,
I always knew that I wanted to have my own business, but most entrepreneurs don't actually need PR. What they need to know is how to get clients. They need to know business development, which is a slightly different skill to PR. So that's kind of where the personal branding came in, because to me, personal branding is about becoming known for something. And if you're not known for something, it's going to be very difficult for you to have a successful business, because how are you going to get clients, customers, if no one knows who you are? So personal branding to me is about taking ownership of your reputation. And that's essentially what I help my clients to do.
That's incredible. I think for me, as somebody who is in storytelling, well, I started off as a journalist as well, and at some point in my life, I was like, I love telling people stories, but I just don't think this is the medium and this is the way to go about it. And I think there's a lot more to that. So it's pretty inspiring to just hear how you made that transition and just like up and leaving, home and living in a country that you didn't know anybody and you kind of took that risk. What would you say was like your biggest challenge when you started out? Like besides the fact that you were leaving home and just starting afresh somewhere new and in a completely different environment.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, looking back, there were quite a few challenges because I initially naively thought that London and New York were similar cultures, but they're worlds apart. They're very different cultures. So I had a huge culture shock when I moved to New York because the company that I was working at in New York was very hierarchical. It was very much about job titles. So that kind of stifled innovation because it was more about, well, this person's a director, you have to do what they say, sort of thing, rather than, whereas in London I was much used to a more fluid environment whereby it was all about ideas, pushing ideas forward. It didn't matter what level you were, as long as you had a good idea, your voice could be heard. So it was a huge shock to my system to recognize that I was in a totally foreign land, and I really just had to build my mental toughness because I was there by myself. I had to build my network again. I had to get out of my comfort zone to really just find my tribe of people that I could resonate with. So I would say that was a big thing, really, just assimilating into a new culture.
And what would you say? I hear you speaking about tribe. Like what would you say is the importance of tribe? And surrounding yourself with like-minded people and people who are kind of for the things that you're for as well. Like why is that important for any entrepreneur, would you say?
Yeah, well, firstly, I think entrepreneurship is probably the hardest thing anyone will ever do because you're creating something from nothing, right? So you have to firstly have unwavering belief in your idea, because right now it's always going to be an idea before it's something. And you have to have the ability to convince others of your idea and that it's going to work. I think most importantly, though, you have to really believe in yourself. And that is what has always kept me going, is that I've always worked on my mindset. I've always done a lot of personal development. I've always made sure that I've equipped myself with the tools, built my confidence, built my belief system. And I think this is something that you have to work on daily because it's a muscle, right? And if you're not working that muscle, it's going to get it's going to kind of, not work as effectively. It's going to atrophy. Like that's what happens when you're not working your muscles. They just don't become as strong. So I think you constantly have to work your confidence muscle, your self-belief, your belief in yourself. I'm always feeding my mind with positive reinforcements, whether it's motivational videos on YouTube, whatever it is, to just keep my spirit high. And I think that is probably the biggest challenge for any entrepreneur.
So I did a bit of stalking, and I was looking I was looking at your Instagram, and like, I mean, 2020 was it was rough, like to say the least. Like 2020, like, yeah, we never saw it coming, and a lot of us struggled, right? But just watching your content throughout, I was really impressed with how you were just so positive throughout, like from beginning of the year right through to the end. You just kept this energy. And as somebody who is in personal branding, and you're constantly advising other people on how to get to their next level and to keep that positive mindset. Where do you look for inspiration? I heard you saying you kind of watch YouTube videos and motivational talks, but where's the place that you go to and you're like, what, actually today I cannot, I am not, I will not? Where do you go?
Yeah, I go inwards. That's what I do. I go inwards. I think that's what we all have to really work on, is recognizing that. And it sounds a bit woo-woo probably, but everything that we need is within. I think once you could work on yourself and recognize that you have the tools, each of us have the tools, and we have to make a decision. Are we going to kind of lie down flat and cry? Fair enough, I know that life is hard, and and this isn't to kind of belittle what's going on. There is a global pandemic, but I also I live by myself. Just yesterday I was in hospital for like 4 or 5 hours because I wasn't feeling well. I kept my heart kept I don't know, it was really strange. I was gasping for breath basically.
Goodness.
But I stayed calm throughout that because like my mum was like panicking and stuff, and I was just like, Mum, I don't know what's going on. There's nothing I could do. Let me just go and get some tests, But had I reacted differently to that, it could have been a very different situation. So I think we always have for the most part anyway, have a choice to make. Are we going to kind of choose courage, or are we going to choose fear? Because you can't choose both. So we've got to decide at the end of the day. And I always choose to stand in courage and faith that everything's going to work out for me. And that's actually one of my mantras, everything always works out for me. And I truly believe that, we're being guided, so that's kind of what I hold on to.
Wait, what? Like, okay, like, oh. What?
Sorry, that was a very long answer, but yeah.
Like, no, I'm still stuck at you in hospital, and you're like, and I was calm, and I'm like your mom right now. I'm panicking, even though this happened yesterday, and you're just telling me the story now. And I think that's like something really commendable. Yeah, I think I should touch base with you, man, and you need to teach me some of these skills. Because
these are skills that I think everyone needs to learn. Just getting quiet. And I don't know if you do yoga. I don't know what your spiritual practice is. I think now, with everything going on, there's so much noise outside of us. We need to create a sanctuary within ourselves. So that's what I think we all need to be practicing right now more than ever.
I am like, okay. I'm more than inspired. I feel like you're right, it's a choice. And I think most of us always take the easy way out with it, which is fear. I think when you panic and, it's harder to stop, listen, take what's happening for what it is, and then move forward. So that's also just a good reminder for myself as well, to just like stop for a little bit and just take things in, especially when they're helpful. So I know that you said that you have an awesome presentation that you'd like to share with us. I think personal branding this year is going to be a major thing for entrepreneurs. I think it doesn't matter what business you're in or what you do, but if you don't know your personal story and you don't know how to make people resonate with who you are and what you do, it's going to be a lot more harder. So I think I'll give you the opportunity to then just take us through those pointers that you think we should be thinking about around personal branding, especially this year as entrepreneurs.
Okay, awesome. All right, so what I'll do is I'll share my screen. And it's a very short presentation. I'm really just going to share like 3 core things that I think are really, really important, whatever your business is. Even if you're in a 9-to-5, I believe these are 3 things that we all could work on mastering to really create more peace of mind, more success for ourselves, whatever it is. I feel like these are like, fundamental. So can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. You can see the presentation?
Yes.
Perfect. Alrighty. So essentially I'm going to be sharing a very brief presentation on how to map out your 2021 brand. So my promise to you is to help you understand the key elements of personal branding to create a life and career you love. That's what I'm hoping you'll come away learning after watching this. So you'll discover why your mindset matters. I know that we've touched on this briefly, but I think it's really, really important, especially in this climate. I'll also be sharing how to create a strong digital footprint, because I don't know about you guys, but we're in lockdown in the UK and we're not seeing much sign of that changing. So everybody's at home, everyone's Googling each other. So it's really, really important that you take ownership of your digital footprint. And finally, I will be showing how to be more proactive to create more opportunities in your business. No one right now can afford to be reactive. And by reactive, I mean just waiting for opportunities. You need to know how to go out and create opportunities. So those are the 3 core things you will discover today. So I know that you've not met me before, and I just thought I would introduce myself formally. My name is Marielle Legair, and I am a PR and personal brand strategist, international speaker, and author. But I often say that my superpower is helping ambitious women move from being unknown to a respected go-to expert to create more impact, influence, and income. And the logos that you see at the bottom of the screen are the media outlets, some of the media outlets that I've placed my clients in. So I'm very proud of the work that my clients are doing. And I am seen as a global personal branding and PR expert. Pre-lockdown, I was doing workshops in London and New York. I've spoken at Microsoft, Yale University. That's me speaking at Yale on the right. I've worked at some of the largest companies in the world, helping CEOs and senior leaders increase their visibility. And my business, Women Who Influence, essentially is focused on helping ambitious women become better known for their work. And this is some of the recent press coverage for my clients. I've got them featured in the likes of Forbes, the BBC, CNBC, Essence, and all of those good things. And I'll be sharing today how you could do, go about getting yourself, if PR is something you're interested in, how you could go about getting yourself featured in the media as well. I'm going to be sharing 3 core elements. So I spoke about publicity, that's one of the elements, but I call this the personal branding success path. And the 3 elements that I want to touch on today are performance, we're looking at your mindset, because mindset is a large part of it, strategy, presence, looking at your online presence, and pitching, so being proactive, whether you want clients, whether you want to do speaking engagements, whether you want to be featured in the media, you need to be proactively pitching yourself to these opportunities. So this is a success path, and if you can master these 3 core things, I really believe you will have a very successful 2011. So firstly, looking at performance. By performance, I mean really working on your mindset. And often, we all have limiting beliefs that we need to work on, because often they keep us stuck, they keep us in our comfort zone, playing small, and it just doesn't serve us to hold on to these limiting beliefs. Because that's the reason why Tony Robbins says that, success is 80% mindset and 20% strategy. So if you're not working on your mindset, it's going to be very hard for you to see big success for yourself. And this is my confession. So this is me in Brooklyn, looking crazy in 2016 in my apartment and struggling to make my business work. I was trying everything. The struggle was very, very real. Part of it was because I had no idea how to get clients to grow my business. I wasn't using LinkedIn at the time. And my mindset was just broken. And I was overworked, overwhelmed, and broke. I just couldn't make it work. So for anyone that may be feeling stuck right now with everything going on with the pandemic, I empathize, but I want to encourage you to believe that you can change things around once you really, take ownership and begin to become more proactive for yourself. So for those of you watching, I would love for you to pause and think, what do you truly believe is possible for yourself? Do you believe that you can have a successful business? Do you believe that there's clients out there globally that will pay you for your expertise? Do you believe that you could do work that you love? It's so, so important to challenge what you believe. Because for a long time, limiting beliefs held me back. I would often tell myself, I can't do video. What will people think of me? I would even say, I can't approach that person I really want to work with. They'll think I'm annoying. I would often tell myself, I'm an introvert. I can't promote my work on LinkedIn. All of these things held me back, because guess what? If I wasn't promoting my business, doing videos, being visible on LinkedIn, no one else was going to do it for me. So this is why it's super, super important for you to challenge your limiting beliefs. So what limiting belief do you need to let go of in 2021? And if you're watching this right now, I'd invite you to write it down on a piece of paper and commit to no longer holding on to that limiting story that you are telling yourself. And my second tip is all about building your digital footprint, your presence online. So, as a business owner, you want to be using LinkedIn as a sales funnel, not a resume or a CV, what you were doing last year. You want to be using it as a way, almost like your digital portfolio, to showcase your work. There's a reason that Gary Vaynerchuk says, LinkedIn is gold right now. It's what Facebook used to be probably 10 years ago. LinkedIn is a place to be because there's so much opportunity on there. And it's gold for a number of reasons. There's clients on there who can afford to pay for your services. There's recruiters at your dream companies if you're in a 9-to-5 wanting to find a job. There's also, you could land big speaking gigs on there. You could land partners with, if you're hosting events and you want to partner with brands, you could find them on there to partner with as well. You can also use it to find journalists for those of you that are interested in getting publicity. These are just some of the ways that you could be using LinkedIn. You know, they are all on LinkedIn. All use LinkedIn, so you should be using it too. So in terms of how to use LinkedIn effectively, so if you want to attract clients on LinkedIn, you've got to avoid this resume style LinkedIn profile. If you see they don't have a cut, they don't have a banner, they've just got that blue standard background that everybody is given when they use LinkedIn. But you need to really dress up your LinkedIn profile so that people know exactly how you can help them. They're also just talking about that what they were doing for the last 10 years. It's not forward looking, it's backward looking. So everyone watching this, I really encourage you to revamp your LinkedIn profile so it speaks directly to the clients that you want to attract. How can you specifically help them? That's what your LinkedIn profile needs to focus on. This is one of my clients' story. We worked together and I helped her really, really strategically position herself on LinkedIn. And now she receives connection requests from her ideal clients globally asking to work with her just because she and I have worked on her LinkedIn profile. So it really, really positions her differently. And this is something that you should be doing too, to attract more opportunities for yourself. But of course, you don't just want to sit there and wait for opportunities. You need to be proactively going out there, approaching people that you want to work with. And this is why I said be proactive, not reactive. Because there are three types of people out there. Three types of people. Those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. Those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. So you've got to decide which of these three do you want to be. I'm hoping that it's the first one. You want to be somebody who is making things happen for yourself. So that means having daily conversations with your ideal clients, proactively putting yourself out there, making things happen for yourself. Because you get what you pitch for, and you should always be proactively pitching yourself and having conversations. And I would ask you, as you're watching this, if you're wanting more clients, how many hours each day are you spending on income generating activity? And income generating activity is anything that brings you closer to a sale in your business. How much time are you spending doing this? This has to be your priority in your business. Nothing else, not blogging, not fixing page 10 on your website. Income generating activity. This must be your priority. And I read this quote from one of my favorite sales books, and it says, every entrepreneur should spend at least 2.5 hours a day prospecting potential clients. And that's for those who have a full pipeline of clients. Business owners without a large list should spend at least 4 hours per day. So you've got to ask yourself, if you're somebody who's a business owner, I'm assuming you want clients, how much time are you spending on this? How much time are you spending having conversations with your ideal client? If it's 0 each day, then see this as your sign. It's January. Now is the time to change that so you could create more opportunities in your business. This is my client, Alice. She said that she used to be scared of LinkedIn. It seemed so serious and corporate. The work we did together helped me understand how to use it properly to get into conversation with clients, attract guests for my podcast, and get booked for corporate workshops. And the very first post that we worked on together actually went viral on LinkedIn for Alice. So this shows you the power of LinkedIn. I've used the platform to get speaking gigs. This is me speaking in London, obviously pre-lockdown, but this was quite a good opportunity. I've used it to partner with brands. I've hosted events in London and New York, and I've been able to negotiate free food and drink just by pitching to brands that I've wanted to work with on LinkedIn. So here are my pitching tips, because I believe that all of you watching right now should focus on pitching, whatever it is you desire, a new job, new clients, PR, speaking gigs. You must get good at pitching, asking for what you want. So my top tips are to make it about them, not you. They need to know what is in it for me. Where's the value in me how are you going to help me? That's what you have to focus on. A lot of people get pitching wrong by focusing on themselves. Focus on your customer, focus on their pain points, their challenges. How specifically can you help them? That's what you need to lead with. And also, again, be very clear on the problem that you're solving for them. You need to demonstrate that you understand them and that you're there to help them. And finally, block out time on your calendar to pitch every single day, because what gets measured gets done. And if you don't have this time blocked out on your calendar, you're probably not going to make it happen. So just simply blocking out like the first hour or so of your day to have conversations with prospective clients, people that you're interested in working with, I guarantee you will see momentum. So just to recap, I've gone through this quite quickly, but I'm hoping that you've got value from the 3 areas that I've told you about. So working on your performance, working on your mindset, flooding your mind with positivity, things that are going to help you feel good, and working on your limiting beliefs that we all have, but we can't hold on to them, right? Then I spoke about presence, so working on your digital footprint, using LinkedIn as a sales funnel to create opportunities for yourself. And then finally, I touched on pitching, how important it is to be proactive and not reactive, and be somebody who is making things happen in your business. So that's the personal brand success path that I would recommend that you work on. And in terms of keeping momentum going, I mean, obviously, I'm only here for this presentation, but to keep momentum going throughout the year, these are 3 things that I think are really, really important. Essentially, to create an uplifting morning and night ritual for yourself, where you pour into yourself before starting your day, because I think this is going to be the game changer between feeling good and feeling great, feeling amazing. So the first one is to move your body, go for a walk or run, get out in nature. Movement is medicine. We all should be moving our body. And the thing is, everyone's on lockdown right now in the UK, so probably not getting as much movement as I desire. But I make a point, this morning I got up, it was like 7 a.m. It was pitch black outside. I went out for a walk and I just put on a YouTube video, and I was just like, it was just a very brisk walk. But guess what? I felt amazing when I got back home. And starting your day by just raising your energy, raising your mood is really going to help you stay positive and stay feeling focused and clear of mind throughout the day. My other tip is to reflect, review your goals, make sure that your goals are written down as well, because you're actually 42% more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down. So this isn't, neuroscientists found this, so do make sure that your goals are written down. I've got a whiteboard over there in my office and I've written my goals down. They're going to be plastered everywhere, but review your goals and your big vision daily after writing them down, because this is going to help you stay on track. Also, break your year down as well. Like, don't just see the whole year as a big thing. Break it down into quarterly chunks, 90-day chunks, and then monthly and daily goals, to really just help you stay focused and, keep that momentum going. And then finally, grow, listen. I listen to podcasts, things that help me stay informed. I always make sure that I avoid the news. I've not watched the news in God knows when, because I don't need to know. I don't need to know kind of, all of the bad news that's out there. So these are just some tips to help you create a morning routine for yourself, whereby you could fill your own cup up first before facing the world, so that you can, be feeling good and really looking after your mental health, your spiritual health. All of this is so, so important, especially now during this time. So those are my personal branding tips and my kind of momentum tips to kind of keep you going. And I just want to end by saying, there is a reason you're here. There's a reason you are watching this right now. And I want to remind you that powerful opportunities await you, even in this climate. Just don't be disheartened. Remember, there is a reason you're here. And, if you don't speak up, if you're not visible, we don't get to hear about you. We don't get to hear your powerful message. And each of you has a powerful message to share. And I want to just remind you of that. So thank you so much. for watching. I am Marielle Legair. You could connect with me on LinkedIn. Marielle Legair is my name on LinkedIn, and my website is just Marielle Legair. Thank you so much. Connect with me. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, but I hope that you found this at least helpful to give you an insight into how to build a strong personal brand, your reputation in 2021. Thank you.
You are so awesome. You're so awesome. Like, as you were talking and going through the presentation, I was taking down notes and I was like, okay, and all the questions that I had written down, I had to kind of scrap because you kept answering them. I was like, okay, cool. You're saying we should utilize LinkedIn, but it can be very intimidating. What? And then you answer it, and I was like, okay, there goes that. So I think I've got like two questions before I let you go. I think the first one, when you started out, you started talking about, getting into the media and getting media presence. And I think a lot of social entrepreneurs, especially when they start out, get a lot of media presence, and a lot of people want to write about, especially social entrepreneurs that are making an impact. A lot of people want to write about the amazing work that they're doing. But then we don't really talk about the family expectations and sometimes community expectations, because people see you in the news and they see you in magazines and they're like, oh my gosh, you're doing so amazing. You must be making so much money. Life is so great. And everybody has all these expectations of you. So how would you say entrepreneurs could kind of deal with that and work around it? So as much as it's important for you to put yourself out there and your business out there, how do you make the people around you realize that you're also you're still building, you haven't really made it yet, you're still trying?
Yeah, I think, and that's a great point, because I feel like there's a big misconception around what PR is. A lot of people think it's kind of like, oh my gosh, you're in Forbes or the BBC or whatever, now you're famous, now you don't need to work. And actually it's great for awareness, but it doesn't necessarily result in clients. It doesn't mean that your business is majorly even successful, So I think it's just about communicating that as well, and just being transparent and saying, this is just awareness. I'm still building my business. So I think it's just about communication and just managing, people's perception.
I hear you. Because I think that's like one of the hardest things when you start out. A lot of people are expecting you. It's like, okay, you've left your 9 to 5 and you want to start this, and automatically as like a business owner, everybody thinks you'll be within the first year, which is, unrealistic. And then you've given us so many things that, we need to kind of go back and look at and focus on. I think LinkedIn, as I said before, has always been like an intimidating, I don't know, it's just very intimidating, because as much as social media has opened up all these opportunities, you kind of go on there and you're like, oh my gosh, I can actually, I have access to communicate with Bill Gates. And that's something that, would have never been available to us then. So it's still a bit intimidating, and I hear you saying you need to just put yourself out there. So thank you for that. I think it's going to get me out of my little head as well.
Yeah, and I think it's so common as well. Like, I have all of my clients come to me and say that, oh my gosh, it's so intimidating, this, that, the other. But you have to remember, like, what story are you telling yourself? Because people are often, we put so much pressure on ourselves, thinking that people are looking at us, people are worried, like concerned with us. They're not. They're more concerned about their own life,
Awesome. And then one last question before I let you go. You spoke a lot about what you take in and how important that is. And, the content that you consume is very important for you. I don't watch TV. I don't watch the news. I used to be a news journalist. I am not interested in any of the bad things that are happening in the world. But you mentioned that you have some podcasts that you kind of listen to when, either in the morning or when you want to get some inspiration. Could you perhaps share, one or two of your favorite podcasts that you kind of, go to for inspiration?
Yeah, so my friend Paul Carrot Bronson, he's incredible. His show is called Better with Paul, and that's on Spotify. So if you just Google Better with Paul, and he has like morning affirmations and so forth. He's interviewed like incredible entrepreneurs from across the continent, entrepreneurs who typically their story wouldn't be told by the mainstream. But he's interviewed like entrepreneurs from across Africa, America, UK, really, really interesting entrepreneurs who are doing great things. Another one that I love is Mind Valley, which is by a guy called Vicky. I can't pronounce his name, can't remember how to pronounce it, but Mind Valley is a great podcast as well, because they've got like a ton of like mindset podcasts and talks and interviews and stuff. So those will be my two that I would recommend.
That is so awesome. I'm actually going to go back and watch this again and start doing, because I think we do a lot of talking, especially at the beginning of the year. We start planning. I did my vision board, but to be honest, it's there. It's just been there, and I haven't, as you said, broken things down. And I think that's what keeps you going and keeps the momentum going and makes you do things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you.
Because it can feel so overwhelming, can't it? And that's something that I'm mindful of as well. Even though I know what my goals are for the year, I want to now break it down into quarters and think, okay, if I want to achieve that big goal by the end of the year, what do I need to be doing just for this quarter? What do I need to be doing just for this month? And then it just feels much more manageable. What team do I need? Who do I need in my corner, helping me? So yeah, I'm glad that you're going to do that. And what did I give to you? What did I give? I gave you the book.
No, not the book. You gave me the, I think it was the personal development. It was about the vision though.
The planner?
And how, yeah.
Okay.
So it was like a worksheet where you had to kind of fill out, your vision and how you kind of plan on doing what you want to do, but not the book. But it was literally something that you had to sit and write. And yeah, I've worked through some of the questions and I've gotten stuck in some.
Oh, really? What was that the 2021
yes.
planner?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because you could write in that or you could print it out. Yeah.
Print it out, yeah. So I think that's what I'll be doing. I'll be sharing it with all the entrepreneurs who are part of the Further Network. And I think let's all kind of just get the year started on a good note, where we are setting goals and not just saying this is what I'd like, but actionable goals.
Action, yeah, daily action is key, because I think you just keep the momentum.
But you have been so amazing and just so incredible. I am so inspired, and I need to work. You've made me realize I need to work. Like, no more talking, just doing.
Just doing, yeah, and resting. Resting is important as well.
That's important too. So just thank you so much, Marielle, for taking the time to just not only share your story and your journey, but like helping me and everybody watching to kind of try and work towards their purpose in a much more clearer way. So I appreciate all your effort. Thank you so much. I wish you everything of the best for the year ahead. You're doing amazing.
And likewise, let's connect on LinkedIn. I'm not sure if are we connected on LinkedIn?
No, I think I follow you on Instagram. So yeah, okay. I'm not scared of LinkedIn anymore after chatting to you. So I'll be
just do it.
I'm done with this call.
Just do it, honestly. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And anything you need, just let me know. But thanks for the opportunity. And let's stay in touch.
Thank you so much, Marielle. Have a good one.
Ready. Bye-bye.
Bye.